Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world heavyweight champion.
What you got going off over there?
I don't know over there. I had a leak going on. A 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as well. They call it the boat. We're doing it, man. We're doing it, man. Hey, man, how you doing, dog? We're coming off a huge weekend, man. It was a weekend of just combat in so many different ways, man. You had everything happening. You had basketball going on. You had boxing going on. You had MMA going on. Everything. I was going through the basketball in that, man. The basketball this week, man. I'm telling you, man. It's been off the chains, man. I'm so looking forward to the NBA final. I'm so looking forward to the Lakers going in there and mixing it up with the Heat. It's gonna be hot, man. I mean, this is like a throwback, man, to back in the day, watching these boys going out and doing it like they're doing it right now. And I tell you, man, LeBron James, what a general! This guy looked like he is in. We used to have a dance group back in the day, me and the boys, and we used to call the group the Remote Controls. That's what this boy looked like right now. That's what LBJ looked like, man. He looked like his own remote control. He just hitting the switch, and whatever channel he land on is something good.
Yeah, no, he's they've been playing great. And to me, though, that the game to watch was that Boston Celtics versus Miami Heat game. Boston looked like they were coming back in it, and then all of a sudden the Heat said, you know what? We're going to flip the switch right now. Yeah. Last 5 minutes, we're going to take this game over. We're going to send y'all home. We're going to give you a little bit. We're going to dangle the carrot and then take it away at the last second. So I like the Heat, man. The Heat hasn't, and here's the interesting storyline. The Heat hasn't been in the NBA Finals since LeBron James took them there in 2014. Now, the first time they're back, they are facing LeBron James. That's a testament to his dominance and to how talented that Miami Heat team is.
Nah, man. And the thing is, you go back and look at the two LeBron James, two totally different players, two totally different individuals.
Yeah.
Totally different basketball. And that's right. That's what I'm talking about. When I watch LeBron now, he looks like he's moving in slow motion. It's because he can see everything that's going on around him. It seems like he's been there so many times before. It's like deja vu. You know what I'm saying? It seems like, man, I seen that before somewhere. I'm not going to go that route. I'm going to go this way. And that's what's so spectacular. Like the boy said in the movie, extraordinary. That's what's so extraordinary about this man. LeBron James, man, I'm loving watching this series on the way it's playing out. And I tell you, man, this thing is going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. And hey, we got people from all over the world with us today, man. I want to thank you guys for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, because this is an international show. We're going to be talking about that later on. I appreciate y'all for being here, because I need y'all just for clarification. You know what I mean? Validation. You know, as a witness. You feel me? Amen. That's what I'm talking about. But Brad, like I say.
I mean, no, I'm surprised with the chat, by the way. I mean, we have people from Nigeria, South Africa, North Africa, Calhoun, Georgia, Cuero, Texas, Dallas, Texas, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is what they said. They said South Africa, the bush.
We're in the bush, man. We're in the bush.
Ecuador.
That boy Francis Ngannou from the bush. He's bad, man. He comes straight from the bush, and he's put the bush on the map.
Ecuador, Argentina. Shout out to everybody watching worldwide with the only show that matters, the Hall of Fame.
Hey, man.
I mean, we've been killing it. We had a lot to talk about. I mean, obviously, we had the Clash of Champions.
No, but before you get there, how you think this final going to play out?
So I'm going to be pulling for Miami, right? Because I just love how they play. You can never go against LeBron James
because the Lakers beat the Rockets. Maybe that's got a little bit to do with it.
I don't know why you would say that. But I will say this:
this is a show here. This is the Hall of Fame. The name of the show is the Hall of Fame. That's a title. We here in the Hall of Fame. We tell the truth. Come on, man. Is it just a little piece? I'm just wondering.
No, maybe a little bit. But also, here's the thing. I always like to go for the underdog. I like to root against whoever the villain of the season would be.
Come on, man. Don't tell me that, man. As many boxing matches and MMA matches we've gone to and been a part of, you've never picked the underdog. You always picked the guy that was going to be winning. You've never picked that before.
Prediction. I didn't say who I was rooting for. You know, that was my prediction. Those are two.
Okay, that's true. That's true.
So I'm rooting for the Miami Heat. My prediction is the Los Angeles Lakers in 6. That's what I think. LA Lakers in 6. They're going to bring that chip back to the city. What do you got?
Man, you know, I don't spend a whole lot of time in Miami. You know, even though the city's hot. You know what I mean? You get to South Beach. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, you call my boy Joe Gomez. You feel me? He'll take care of you. But on the other hand, I'm in LA a lot. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And if LA win, they're gonna be celebrating. I want to be a part of the celebration. You know, so I might, you know, be rooting for them boys, man. Them boys. You know, it's showtime. It's showtime again in the city, man, if they can pull this thing off, bro.
Hey, you know what? I want to get
you know what gets me though, before we before you get anywhere else, is that boy LeVar Ball. What is he?
LeVar been real quiet since Lonzo went to New Orleans, and I believe is it LaMelo or LaAngelo?
What his damn name is.
I think LaMelo. He didn't even get picked up in the draft.
Now you see what a difference that they make. You know what I mean? Yeah. All that talking, you know, diving, you know, when you know what, the reason why I say that was so much pressure on them boys, man.
Yeah.
There was so much pressure. And the thing is, they were good. They actually could play the game, but they had a daddy that I'm not going to say he didn't, you know, do what he had to do as far as trying to create stardom, but he didn't become as big as his sons because I never knew who he was. But to step in those kids' way, to actually, you know, mutter the waters with all of that talk and nonsense, I really think it played a huge, you know, part in what these guys got. You know,
I think that he is super annoying, right, LeVar Ball, but I do appreciate how much he loves his sons. You could tell this man loves his kids. And you know what? You can make the argument that if he didn't talk that crazy, we might have never even paid attention to Lonzo Ball.
Come on, man. I beg to differ, man. I beg to differ. You know, talent, you know, you can look here. Somebody was hitting the threes for him, you know, for somebody to look at him. Mm-hmm. Somebody was going out there and dribbling the basketball and scoring the layups, so somebody could look at him. You know, so the talent was there. You know, so it's not the talent. You know, and one thing about talent pretty much normally speaks for itself. I don't remember most of the times. Mm-hmm. I don't remember Michael Jordan's mama going out there saying, "Look at my boy. Y'all need to look at him," you know, because the boy just was gliding. You say, "Man, look at, you know, look at Drexler, look at Malone, look at all the stars, you know, look at me, you know, Cream, you know, like my daddy said, always rise to the top." You know what I'm saying?
Then let me ask you this. One more thing about basketball before we have to, I'm sure, move on to our combat sports and wrestling.
Yeah, man.
Doc Rivers got let go.
Yeah.
Doc Rivers has been fired as the head coach of the LA Clippers, and he said, Woj, Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN's reporting that he wants to still coach.
7 seasons to the playoffs, man. Seven seasons, he took that team to the playoffs. Just they didn't go to today. But go ahead.
Well, my question to you is this. Doc Rivers' son, Austin, happens to play for the Houston Rockets. Doc happens to be looking for a job in coaching. The Rockets happen to be looking for a head coach. Mm-hmm. What would you think about Doc Rivers coming in to take over the pair of James Harden and Russell Westbrook as the new head coach for the Houston Rockets?
Man, you know, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I would love that. You know, I would love to see Doc come in and try to resurrect this city, because one thing about Doc, and I talk about it all the time, you know, is certain guys, you know, the Van Gundys, whatnot. Yeah. I like those guys. But Doc, you know, we know Doc. We've seen Doc. You know, we know where he come from. We know his resume. All right. So when it comes to saying, have this guy been in the trenches, have this guy been around the guys that know exactly what it takes to get to that next level, he literally checks each and every box. So for me, that's like a no-brainer. Pay the guy some money, get him in the city, and see if we can make a run at it. Because I would even give James Harden a shot at falling in line. You know what I mean? And perhaps taking it to the next level and doing something. Because, and the reason I say that is because he has some leadership. He has some wisdom. He has somebody that can pull him aside and talk to him and say, hey, man, look at here. We need you to do this. Not that. All right. Do this and do this only, and we'll win tonight by 10. Trust me on that. Just trust me. And then James do that, and they win. And James, like a light bulb goes off. He said, hey, man, write something else for me tomorrow night. You feel me? You feel me on that? Hey, guys, we got to take a break. You're inside the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Booker T along with my man, Brad Gilmore. Bad man. We're going to be talking about Brad in a little while because Brad going to be getting into a fist fight. You know what I mean? Fisticuffs, pugilism. That's when you put hands on one. You understand what I'm saying? But we got to talk about what went down this weekend as, UFC 253. What an awesome spectacle of a night, as well as Clash of the Champions 2020, Reigns versus Uso. What a night. And like Howard Cosell used to say, what a night, what a fight. You know what I'm saying? Why do I feel so good tonight? You know why? Because I can wear a tank top on the air and flex like that right there.
That's pretty impressive.
I just want all you suckers, not all, just a couple, to understand that everything's everything. Just like Marvin Gaye used to say, everything's everything. It's in the song, it's written. Everything's everything.
Give it to him one more time. Give it to him one more time. Just let him know what everything's all about. Look at that.
Bam.
6'3", 254 pounds of romping.
Hold on, don't let it go yet. Bam.
Grave digging destruction, Jack.
Might hurt somebody. Oh, but that's another story. Adesanya, Costa, Reyes, Blachowicz. I got it down. I worked that out over the weekend.
I know. Yeah, I hear that.
You hear that, don't you?
Yeah, it was good.
I tell you, man, what a night of action, man. The Charlo brothers, they did their thing. We definitely got to talk about those guys too, because Charlo Rosario, what a weird night. But the one guy we got to start this thing off with, from my perspective, I don't know. I hope you can follow along with me. Is a guy that's been around since Tough One, Diego the Nightmare Sanchez. 38 years old. He took a loss, Jake Matthews, but he didn't go out there and just get beat up or anything like that. Of course, he wasn't the Diego Sanchez of old. I think they said Diego perhaps got 4 fights left on his contract. And the question is, should Diego fulfill, those final 4 fights? My thing is this. He's only 38 years old. He didn't get beat up that bad. All right. Well, we could say, man, come on, man. This is not right. It wasn't one of those moments or anything like that. Just last year, 2019, that's the same guy that beat Mickey Gall, friend of the show. We go Gall till we fall. We talked about that right there. So if he could go out there and beat the Mickey Galls of the fight game, maybe this guy, Jake Matthews, was just a step up from the Mickey Galls. Maybe if you put him against guys like that for these next 4 fights, he can fulfill those that contract and make that money at the same time, and boom, go off into the Hall of Fame, and boom, that's my thing. I mean, you ain't got to throw this guy killers or anything like that. Me personally,
yeah,
I want him to fulfill that contract. All right, like I say, we know he just beat a guy like Mickey Gall, who we all thought had a lot of promise and was perhaps going to rise, relatively quickly in the game. But, we see that didn't happen. So we know he can still fight at a certain level. All right. Why not give the man a chance to finish? All right. That's what I'm saying, opposed to just throwing him out the pasture and boom, there it is.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I really do with Diego, but he's one of those ones. You ever watch a fight and you're just uncomfortable? You know what I mean? Like, it just
I see that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it just bothers you. It's not even like, oh man, this guy's getting his ass kicked. It's like, I don't no, can we not watch this right now? And that's what it's like, because I have so much respect for Diego Sanchez, because The Ultimate Fighter Season 1 is what made me an MMA fan to begin with. If it wasn't for that first season of Ultimate Fighter, I might have never been off into this stuff. So for Diego to still be fighting, that's a testament to his toughness. But to me, this is a similar situation to Donald Cowboy Cerrone. And to an extent, not Tyron Woodley's a little bit lesser than this, because he's had just kind of a drop off. But with Diego and guys like Cowboy, it's just hard to watch these guys go out there and take a pounding and take a beating. Sure, he beat a guy like Mickey Gall, right? But so did Mike Perry. So maybe Mickey Gall isn't at the level that we once thought that he could be. Maybe he'll get there. Maybe he won't. But with Diego, I'd rather not see him finish these 4 fights out, because they say you could age overnight, right? You could age in 1 fight. And I don't want to see Diego get out there, forget how to put his hands up, and just take a punishment to that brain that does not need to happen. He doesn't have anything left to prove. He's a bona fide Hall of Famer. He could never fight again. He didn't have to fight this last fight. He's a bona fide Hall of Famer. I don't know where he's at financially speaking, but I'm hoping that he's in a good way and he doesn't need the money anymore. Maybe he's doing it just because how you gonna tell a Maine he can't go out there and do it, right?
I was gonna go there.
I knew you were gonna go there. I can read your mind sometimes. But I just think that it's not the right way to go. However, we did see over the weekend, I don't know if you paid attention to the social media hubbub that went on, but Conor McGregor did say that he had asked Dana White if he could fight Diego Sanchez this year. He wanted that fight. Now, say what you will about Conor asking for that fight when Conor's a top 3 fighter in the world, but for Diego, if he's going to go out, give him Conor. You know what I mean? He's going to go out with an L, but at least he'll make some money, right? I don't want to see it. Let me be honest. I don't want to see that fight.
You would be the last person. The last person I would think in this world, in this God lovely, world that we live in,
right?
I would think that way.
Did that be a good thing for Diego?
I mean, come on, man.
You want him to fight 4 more fights. I'm saying go get knocked on the first round and cash a check.
Don't give Conor McGregor. Look, please.
No. Conor,
wait, please. Wait a minute, Brad. Don't give Conor McGregor a way out like that coward Ariel Helwani. Don't do it.
I'm not giving him a way out.
Okay? Don't you do that.
A way out.
Please don't you do it. We are real journalists here on this show.
Right.
We don't give anybody a pass.
Right.
Conor McGregor was asking for a pass to fight Diego Sanchez, a man that he should be able to beat in his sleep.
Right.
Okay, but my thing is this. Don't defend him like Ariel Hall.
I'm not
Don't throw him softballs and ask him how's the parents and the kids. Please, don't you do that. This is the Hall of Fame. When we ask the tough questions, we get down to the nitty gritty. No, but my thing is this.
Okay.
Conor McGregor, he played it just like Dana White said, you know, this is something the old ladies know about not to do. Okay? This is not some stuff that you want people out there. See, that's what kind of man. See, he just lost a lot of points, you know, as far as
Connor?
Yes, as far as putting that knowledge out there in text, you know, in private conversation, you know, between two men. That was a punk move. I had something happen to me like that just last year, and I wanted to kill the person. And every time I think about it, I want to kill the person. And for Conor McGregor to throw Diego Sanchez under the bus by having his name actually come up. Now, of course, if the fight would have just happened and materialized and Diego made some money out of it, was able to walk off in the sunset, okay, cool. I'm for that. that.
That's what I'm for.
Don't you do it. Don't you, please don't you pull a Ariel Helwani, a spineless, you know, I'm not going to even, you know, we're going to talk about, but Diego Sanchez, 38 years old, you think he should step away? I think he should move on. The UFC should be able to set him up properly to be able to, at least, I tell you what, evaluate it fight by fight. Give him one more. Give him a fighter at like I say, that fight level. You can't get past this guy. Let's call it quits. Let's do that for him. But you just cannot. If Diego Sanchez is not stepping to the table and saying, hey, guys, you see these gloves right here? I'm taking them off. I'm leaving them in the ring tonight. And come on. Have you ever seen the movie Gladiator? He said, give me a warrior's death. That's what fighters do, man. They don't walk away from the game like that. They don't crawl away from the game like that. That's just my opinion. And I say, give Diego Sanchez a gold piece and send him home. He has a story to tell, but do it right. Do it right for this man. All right? And that's just my piece on that, guys. You know, I'm just a lover of the game and the fighter, the pugilist, the gladiator. You're in the Hall of Fame. Stick around. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ. Hey, man, I'm having too much fun tonight, man. I'm having way.
Are you off that Juan Valdez right now?
No, man, I didn't get a chance to make. I made me a little smoothie, man, a little strawberry banana smoothie with a little peanut butter blast. You know about the BT peanut butter blast, but that's what I'm doing right now. Just trying to stay on top of my game, man. You never know when the The knock may come at the door, and it have that package, and you open it and they say, hey, we need you. It's almost like a special mission, kind of like GI Bro type stuff. You got to be ready, prepared. Preparation is the only luck you're ever going to have. So as soon as we finish this set right here, I'm going to get in the gym. All right, I'm going to get in the gym and I'm going to hang and bang in the zone for about a good hour. We got some stuff coming up on television tonight. I'm going to be watching that. So I'm finna get ready to prepare myself for that knock that perhaps may come any day now. You never know. So I'm itching. You know what I mean? I'm hoping. No. I'm wishing, for that knock. But let's move on, man. Dominic Reyes, man. Dominic Reyes had a tough night. Jan Blachowicz stepped up. What he did was he stepped up. And this is a guy that seemed like picked this thing up on the job training. He wasn't like an anomaly, one of those perfect storms or anything like that come into the UFC and all eyes on me. It wasn't one of those type of deals. And that's what impressed me about this guy more than anything. All the pressure, all the eyes were on Dominic Reyes because of what he did with the one guy, the GOAT. And my thing is this. Should Dominic Reyes have been judged on that fight that he had with Jon Jones? Should we have, put so much into, man, he should have beat Jon Jones. So now in this fight, he's already anointed the light heavyweight championship. I don't know. Do you agree with me or not? Do you think people looked at it that way?
I think that, yeah, I mean, and I was one of them. I thought, okay, because you and I were there. We saw with our own two eyes. We saw Dominic Reyes go out there and beat Jon Jones. I saw it. And I remember when we were watching and waiting for the result, we were all convinced that Jon Jones has just taken his first real L in his MMA career and just lost the light heavyweight championship. So everybody was saying that. Everybody was saying it. On Twitter, social media, the regular media, ESPN, they're all saying, hey, man, Jon Jones looked human out in there tonight. Looked like Dominic Reyes went out there and won. Not only were they saying that, I don't know if you saw any of this, when Jon started saying, I don't know, I might relinquish the title, and then he relinquishes the title, they were all saying it's because he don't want to fight Dom Reyes again. That's a bad man. He wants to just duck that fight and go on and move up to heavyweight because he don't want any of that again. He already figured out what time it was, and he squeaked by, right?
Yeah.
That's what everyone was saying. So if I'm Dominic Reyes, hell yeah, I'm feeling really confident. If I'm a fan of Dominic Reyes or I'm an observer of the sport, I'm thinking, you know what? This guy's probably got the goods. If you can beat the greatest of all time, you can beat Jan. You can beat Jan the Don, right? The Polish Hammer. You can go out there and beat him. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah.
Dominic Reyes looked a lot like what we saw in the main event. He looked like he didn't come to fight.
Man.
He looked like he did not come to fight. And I was really let down because I thought that this was going to be our next superstar is Dominic Reyes, and he's going to go through the whole division. And he showed up, and he had his opportunity. He had his moment. What do you say about the moments, Book?
Hey, man, moments come few and far between, man. You got to capture that moment, and you got to do it at that moment because it could be poof. It could be gone like that. You may never see it again. You know what it reminded me of was Tyson Fury versus Wilder. That's what it reminded me of from an MMA perspective. We were all expecting Wilder to bring the noise. We know it was going to be such a great fight, and then all of a sudden it was like a dud. Seemed like it was one-sided from the outset. It seemed like, Wilder couldn't win that fight, no matter what happened. We were looking at each other like, what is going on? And the same thing in this Reyes fight. He was getting hit so hard, from his right side. It was pushing him, like a wind, a hard wind. And I was like, wow, man, this guy really hitting that hard or what? And he would hit Reyes, and Reyes would stumble. I'm like, man, what is going on? So it was like, it just didn't seem like the same guy that we had seen before, just like, Wilder. did not seem like the same guy that we had seen before in the fight previous, so it felt that way to me, and the outcome was pretty much close to the same. A dramatic knockout, a stoppage, where the referee just have to have the wherewithal, the understanding, and know how to get in there and do his job and just stop it. That's what this thing was, man. I mean, it was drawn up just the way I see it all the time. I don't know. Did you have that same feeling or not? Kinda, maybe a little bit.
Well, I didn't think of the comparison to the fight that we saw in February with Tyson Fury. And you know what? I think that's spot on, because when we saw Wilder against Luis King Kong Ortiz 2, when we saw that fight, we saw Wilder, he was losing rounds, but he was always in it, right? He was always in the fight, and they just took that one shot, bam, right? Knocked the man out. With Dominic Reyes in the John Jones fight, which was also the fight in February, it's funny how these are mirroring one another. He was going out there and outclassing John. Whenever John had that certain technique, it looked like Dom almost was seeing it in slow motion. He knew how to counter. He knew what to do against John. Here, it honestly, Booker, you could have told me that he had a 50-pound rubber mask and suit that he walked to the ring in, and his legs were gone, right? Because that's what it looked like. That's what Deontay Wilder said did it for him. It's almost like that's what Dominic Reyes looked like. As soon as he got in, he just looked out of it, right? Yeah. And you're right. That body abuse that he was taking, whew, man, that looked terrible. It looked terrible. And then the knockout was spectacular. I never thought that Jan Blachowicz would be the light heavyweight champion of the world. That thought never crossed my mind. But all it takes is one shot. And guess what? The one thing I will say is when we were on this show last week, I said, man, that was a spectacular knockout he had on Luke Rockhold.
Yeah.
And sure, it was a different Luke Rockhold. I said it was spectacular, so I know he's got the power, but I still thought Dominic Reyes was going to get the job done.
Hey, I'm going to be the first one to say it. I didn't give him enough credit because I said it. I said, man, I said Luke Rockhold came in there, he had staph infection. That wasn't the same Luke Rockhold of old, so we really don't know. I don't know if I underestimated him or anything like that, but I didn't think it was going to be anything near dramatic as this, near spectacular as this, to where when you hear Jan Blachowicz's name now, people say, man, I know who that is. Yeah, that's the guy, man, that knocked Dominic Reyes out in grand fashion. Wasn't it a left hook? Oh, my God, it was beautiful. And I tell you, when you hit a man like that and he crumble, when you hit a man and he just start dancing, oh, man, that tells you the brain has disconnected itself from the body. They say separate one from himself. That's what that was right there. It separated himself, from his equilibrium, to where he was just totally wondering, where am I? How many of them is it? It was one of those moments. And I tell you, Blachowicz jumped on him and he finished Reyes without, thinking about it or anything like that, without being passive or anything like that. You got real fighters, they know when they got a man hurt. They know when they can taste the blood, looking to land that killer blow. That's what this thing was about. And I was like, this guy right here, Blachowicz, sometimes it takes a minute to become a believer. And for this guy, I think it just took a minute for us to become believers, and he had to go out and beat somebody like Reyes to actually do that. And you know what? That happens with most fighters, man. That happens with the best of them. Ali, he had his nemesis back in the day, and you just got to go out there and do the job, man. Like Ernie Ladd said, hey, do that job and do that job well. That's what this thing's about, man. But I tell you, Blachowicz, he got a hell of a career in front of him because right now, the thing is, I was watching this movie, man, I can't think of it right now, but the president said, you got a chip in the game. and and you're gonna use it. And I'm going to cash it in for you. You know, that's what Blachowicz has right now. He has a chip in the game, and it can get cashed in when John Jones come back and get that big money deal. That I'm talking about, you know, the big 32-ounce steak. You know what I'm saying? And can you finish that 32-ounce steak? You get a prize at the end of the rainbow. Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back. Hey, what's up, guys? It's Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer, and this is for all up-and-coming professional wrestlers, male and female. You want to know the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. You got a question, I got the answer. If you want to know how, join my masterclass. Go to realityofwrestling.com for all the information. Starting on Thursday and every Thursday after that, guys. Don't miss out. Don't get shut out. And I know you can dig that.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, you know, I'm serious, man. Reyes, he's definitely gonna have to rebuild. He's definitely gonna have to do something to find himself back in the, you know, upper echelon of that division, because getting beat like that it's really hard to come back from, first and foremost. And get, you know, rising to that high and riding that wave too for, you know, how many months it was from that John Jones fight and people thinking, oh man, this is the guy. And then boom, one night, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. This perfect, perfect analogy right there. John Jones said it best in a tweet. He said, not so easy. And that's true. It's not so easy. We talked about John Jones in that. A lot of times right now, it seems like John Jones is measured because you know, as far as a fighter, because of that one fight he had with Dominic Reyes.
Well, the Dominic Reyes fight and the Thiago Santos fight.
Well, but
Thiago, but
let's think about those two. But what about the many before?
Well, I don't think it's about the many before.
No, it is because, you know, you can't, and I talk about it all the time. You can't go out and fight at the same level each and every night against, you know, different opponents, because everybody's fight skills and fight styles are so different. And you just can't beat. I can't tell you how many matches I had where I just didn't have it that night. I just couldn't get going, man. I'm talking about, this is just in professional wrestling. I'm talking about in a fight. Can you imagine, man? It's so hard to go out and be able to perfect that same golf. Why do you think golfers don't win tournaments, you know, on a weekly basis? You know, because to be able to go out and perfect that golf swing, to be able to do it the same exact way every time like a machine, is almost impossible. And that's what fighters like John Jones, I think, would have to deal with in certain situations at certain times, just because they might be dealing with something personal and they still got to go in there and fight. And they still got to train.
That's the name of the game. And to me, though, the reason why all the fights before, yes, they do matter. Obviously, it's why we look at John Jones the way that we look at him. And then his last two outings, he won them, right? He got the W. It wasn't the most impressive win. And I think that we're just bringing those up because it's like, is he aging out of this game? He's been in the game, even though he's still a young man, he's been in the game for a minute, Book. He's been in it for a minute. We've been talking about John Jones, it feels like, for a decade or longer, right? He's been in the mix, in that main event scene, and you can only do so many of those. And I think that the reason why we judge him so harshly is because he is great. He is the greatest ever.
Now,
so the greatest ever, we're going to look at it.
Okay, tell me this. Do you think Santos beat him?
I don't think Santos beat him. No. But he didn't look great against him. But I don't think that he beat him.
Do you think Reyes beat him?
I do think Reyes beat him.
Well, my thing is this: with the Reyes Jones fight, I felt like it could have been a split decision draw, and I'm not saying that because I'm pulling for John Jones. I'm pulling because the champion can't lose the fight without really going out there and being convincing.
Decisively beat. I agree with you on that. So, I think the biggest issue with the judge's decision, it was unanimous. It was a unanimous decision.
Well, a lot of times the judges are no different than you are, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as far as being biased, sometimes towards certain people, and a pull form, no matter what, like a James Harden. You know what I mean? So sometimes people are just judges are no different than anybody else. I really feel that way because we get some of the most lopsided scoring in some of these fights that we've ever seen in our lives. And we be wondering, especially in boxing, we say, man, what are they looking at? They definitely have to be either tainted, bought, jaded, maybe just feel a certain way about that person. I don't know what it is, but the fight could have been a draw. Now, just say for instance he did beat John Jones. I don't think they would have did anything for John Jones' legacy. I don't think the UFC would have been able to live with themselves for making Dominic Reyes the champion, and then Dominic Reyes go out and then boom lose the belt in one fight. It would have did nothing for the title. That's just me as a promoter, and that's just the way I see it.
But that's happened before in sports, right? I mean, you think about Buster Douglas or Muhammad Ali didn't retire undefeated, right? I mean, he was beaten before, and then there's the road as the promoter to get him back to the title. We got to see Ali back with the strap, right? So I mean, it's happened before. But to me, I love John Jones. I mean, outside antics aside, right? I'm a fan. I'm a fan of what he does inside the octagon.
Yeah.
However, if his strategy really turns out to be I relinquished the championship just because I didn't want this Dom Reyes fight, and I'm going to come back my next fight and fight Jan for the title, that's a sucker move. That's a super sucker move. My thought is the greatest of all time.
Well, why is that? Why? I mean, come on, explain to me. I mean,
you can't duck, dip, dive, and dodge when you're the world champion.
I don't think that's what it. I don't think that's what it is, man.
Look, if he goes and he fights heavyweight, and then he comes.
No. The reason I say, if he came back and fought Jan for the title, I think it'll be great for the UFC. I think it'll be great for John Jones' legacy.
It wouldn't be great for Jan.
No, but
he called him out.
That's the thing. John Jones could really come back and show his dominance of how good he really is, and say, "Look, guys, don't call it a comeback. Look, like I never left. I'm still the same guy. Look, I had an off night. I had a cold. Something wasn't right in my training coming in that week, but I still went out and toughed it out. That's the fight game sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, you know what I mean? So
I hear you. But okay. I just think it's a sucker move. That's just what I think. If you come back and you fight after you relinquish the title, to me, it's gonna look like you didn't want any of that smoke from Dom Reyes. That's just what it's gonna look like for me.
That's you, bro. That's you. Me personally, I'm thinking, if it does happen, if it's some money there, if it's some monies there to be made in the light heavyweight division right now, okay. We can make some noise if somebody like Rumble Johnson came back, and fought. That would be a spike in the ratings, maybe as far as the excitement go. The excitement meter will go way up as far as someone like Rumble coming back. But who other than Rumble in the light heavyweight division, other than these guys that are just going out there fighting, got any star appeal other than someone like John Jones coming back and getting in the mix? Just name one.
I have one, and I have a feeling that we're going to talk about him more. And I think that he could get the job done at light heavyweight. His name is Israel Adesanya.
No, we can't talk about him right now.
Well, that's who I would pick. You asked me a question, I gave you an answer. You can't. Get a prerequisites to my answer.
The thing is, you could have gave me that same answer if I said in the heavyweight division.
Not in the heavyweight division. Not in the heavyweight. The welterweight.
You know what I mean? What I'm saying is, you could have gave me that answer in any division. I'm talking about right now that's running around, vying for, supremacy in that division. Jan Blachowicz, Dominic Reyes, John Jones. Who else?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit light and thin at 205 currently. If Rumble would obviously be someone big. John, of course, is always going to be the king of 205. We just saw DC retire, who was the former light heavyweight champion. I don't know anyone else other than somebody moving up or down to get into that division. It's hard for a heavyweight to move down to 205. We saw Daniel do it, but that's why I think, is he moving up? That really excites me. That excites me, especially if John goes down, beats Jan for the title. Oh, can you imagine? Izzy versus John at 205? Get out of here. Get out of here. Take my money.
Yeah, I'm serious, man. I like that. I like that. Hey, man, it's a whole lot of action.
I do want to say something real quick. I didn't know if you were about to move into the next fight, though, or not.
Well, no, I wasn't.
Okay, well, what I wanted to say, though, was this. The reason these fights are still fun to watch, I love what the UFC is doing. It is weird that they have no crowd, right? It's still weird that they had no crowd. If they had a crowd on Saturday night, that knockout, you would have heard it all the way here in Houston, right? But what's they have a reason. There's no crowd. We're still in the midst of a pandemic.
And I can't wait till we go.
I can't wait either. But you saw all the corner men, everybody coming out. They had their N95 masks, right? They made sure that they were okay and good to go. Yes. Well, we do the same here in the Hall of Fame. Anywhere Booker T goes, you were just in Orlando. Anywhere I go, I got one mask of choice. That's Boomer Naturals, and they got something to hear for us.
Hey, we're all wearing masks these days, but not all masks are made equally, especially when it comes to comfort and protection. I recommend the Boomer Naturals. It's 3-layer, comfortable, and highly breathable mask. It comes in sizes for adults, teens, and children. And speaking of kids, if yours are heading back to school, why would you want to make sure they're protected?
You're absolutely right, Booker. The Boomer Natural masks are protected with nano silver technology that's woven right into the fabric. Nano silver can block those tiny drops and particles from getting into your nose and mouth. That gives you an added layer of protection. Boomer also offers the popular nano silver neck gaiters. That's a mask that'll cover up your whole face. And another great thing is Boomer donates one face cover for every order to nonprofits and charities. Now, you ready for this? Here's the big news.
What's the big news?
Boomer Natural masks are now available in CVS stores.
And of course, guys, you can order now at boomernaturals.com. Use that promo code Booker and save 20%. That code Booker at boomernaturals.com. Hey, guys, get free shipping and handling when you spend at least $50 online at boomernaturals.com.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, man, there again, 253 went down. I was in Orlando getting ready for the fight that night. Got a chance to sit back with Rosenberg, JBL, and, we just kicked back and watched the action. And I tell you, man, like I say, the fight did not disappoint me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, other than I wish both fights could have went at least one extra round apiece.
Right.
Just to see a little bit more of the action, man. I was like, boom, it came so fast and so quick and so sudden. Pretty much in both fights, the Blachowicz fight as well as the Costa Adesanya fight. You know, an Adesanya fight. Let's talk about that, man. Let's talk about the main event. UFC 253 went down on Fight Island, man. They wasn't in the Apex yet. Fight Island, dog. You know, I always, you know, that's what I wish too, man. That we could actually, this pandemic wasn't going on, you know, have a chance to go to Fight Island, you know.
Oh, that'd be so much fun.
And actually see it up close in person. You know, me personally, you know, I've been all over the world. You know, I actually been there and seen it up close and personal, but I wish we could have taken the Hall of Fame and just got a piece of the action, you know, our little bit of champagne wishes and caviar dreams. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. It ain't over. It ain't over. The party's not over. So I'm looking forward to it happening one day soon. Adesanya Costa. This is the thing. I don't know if you read it, saw it, heard about it or anything like that, but Costa, I was looking at a video about an hour ago, and it was about a minute video that he posted on YouTube, and he said he didn't want to make any excuses or anything like that, but something happened before the fight. He didn't say what it was, but he said something happened before the fight, but I don't want to make any excuses or anything like that. He's going to come back stronger, this, that, whatnot, and the other. But
I don't want to make excuses, but let me make an excuse.
No, he did. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up. I'm sure you're going to look it up. I'm sure, you know, the guys out there that's listening to the show, they're going to look it up and, you know, just to, you know, clarify. But I just saw it on YouTube. He says he's going to, unless it was an impersonator or something.
Look, I think you may have been looking up old Ricky Martin videos.
No. I'm telling you, man, I'm hoping I didn't mess up and see something like that. But no, he said, you know, he's going to come back stronger. He's going to get a title shot quicker than, you know, Adesanya, you know, is going to know it, you know, and whatnot. But he says, you know, something happened before the fight. I don't know what you think could have happened before the fight to make the outcome perhaps, you know, have come out like that.
In the video that he had, was there any profane language used?
No.
Okay.
He was very, very humble.
I have the video right here if we want to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay. So here is Paulo Costa talking about his fight with Israel Adesanya. This is what he had to say.
Hello, guys. Paulo Costa here. I come here just to say to everybody, stay cool, stay calm, keep your mind on focus, and relax, cause I know what I can do that here on this division. I will still on 185 to fight here again. I will fight here again sooner, and he knows. I will bring back with all my weapons, okay? Thank you. Much love for everybody. Well, guys, I'm here to say thank you for all support. I'm back already, stronger, smarter. We had some mistakes, and the next time I will be better and I will get my goal, okay? Thank you. I'm not here to excuse something happened, but doesn't matter. I'm focused on my goal. Thank you for everyone.
Okay. So there it was. You know, he said something happened and there was mistakes made. I wonder what it was. But it's that's my thing. I just don't like when people say, yeah, you know, I'm not going to make excuses, but, you know, I was a little late to work. And then, you know, and then the bus, you know, and then you should have seen the traffic that happened. I mean, but I'm not trying to make any excuses, but you know what I mean? What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
Because I've got the bus plenty of times in my life, and I've been late, and sometimes it happens. You know what I mean? It's not an excuse. Sometimes catching the bus, I had to catch two of them. I'm not like that scum Area Hawaii who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. I'm not like that. But no, go ahead.
Well, okay, but let's talk about his game plan going into it or lack thereof, because Paulo Costa, who's known for throwing some great, hand strikes, was throwing none of that. He went in there, he was playing games with Israel, putting his hands behind his back. Normally, that's something you do when you're beating somebody up pretty bad. Ali didn't start doing the Ali shuffle till he knew he had your number, right? And for Paulo Costa to start putting his hands behind his back and saying, let's go, engage. I don't know what he was thinking. Whatever happened before the fight, I don't know if it was a fight with his woman or something like that had his mind in other places, because his mind was not on Israel Adesanya, and his mind was not on fighting this man and winning the UFC middleweight championship.
Man, my thing is this, man. I've talked to you about this. I've said it many, many times. Over the years, the fight game is levels. You got your C fighter, C plus, B plus, AA plus, and then you have the elite, the extraordinary, the guy that stands out above all. And that's always the way the fight game has been, represented. There's always been a guy that have come along and, made you say, man, that's the real boy there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think, when we look at Adesanya, like he said, he's had 100 fights, and then he really made you pause and just think for a moment. He say, fight 1, fight 2, fight 3, fight 4, fight 5, all the way up to 100. You do that, so you some sense of the computer, all the input, all the downloads that are in his head to know. And I talk about defense. I talk about Floyd Mayweather and how his defense is impeccable, second to none. And you see him going through his routine, and you say, "What is that about?" It's like the Matrix, Neo can read it, but we can't. You know what I'm saying? That's the way certain fighters are. And when I watch Adesanya, just like John Jones, when John Jones came along, John Jones was he was a perfect storm. He was an anomaly. He was a guy that you said, wow, who is this guy? There's been certain guys that have come along like that and make you go. Anderson Silva, he's another guy that, and you go, wow. It's like watching a real karate movie in real life, you know what I mean? Or watching, one of these, combat sport movies where you see these guys do some spectacular stuff, and you go, man, come on, that's CGI, and that's what we saw with this fight here with Costa and Adesanya, because I tell you, I had to go back and watch it several times and rewind it several times to actually see the shot, the head kick, that where he started bleeding. It was so fast and it was so quick. If the camera, literally, you have to slow it down in slow motion to catch it. How do you think Costa saw it? It's no way.
No
way. That's just my opinion. It's just like doing, the slapjack game. Sometimes the hand is quicker than the eye. The foot was quicker than the eye, as far as that situation go. And then the lazy jab by Costa after the front kick was just tearing up that leg. That lazy jab, and then left it out there for a second and got clipped behind the ear and then on top of the forehead before you could even blink an eye. It was like in an instant, bang, bang. And I had to slow that down and look at it over and over just to actually see. It was like the phantom punch, I'm serious. That's the way it felt, because this guy is that elusive. He's that good. And now hopefully people, will give him his props and, say he's the best, pay him his money and, make this guy a star. This is your star right here. You don't need to look around for any stars in the UFC. You really don't need to look around for any. Adesanya is the guy you need to. It's like WWE, man. You know, they hooked a wagon to John Cena and they rode with that guy. You know, they hooked the wagon to The Rock and they rode with him. They hooked the wagon to Stone Cold Steve. They hooked the wagon to The Undertaker. You need to hook the wagon to Adesanya and ride this thing, guys. That's your star. Hey, guys, you're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Talking a little UFC, Costa Adesanya, and the way it went down, man. And my thing is this, Costa, you just heard the interview there. You heard him say that something happened. I may have misquoted and said something happened before the fight. So let me take that back. I don't want to, mislead anyone like, fake news journalists out there like Ariel Helwani. I'm just saying, I want to make sure I give it to you straight. But whatever happened with Costa, whether it affected him or not, he was dealing with a guy that there again, I think is fighting on another level. It didn't last very long at all. TKO, second round, 3 minutes, 59 seconds. And there again, Costa has to feel a certain way being put in that position, especially when you got a lot of white noise. And what I mean by that is, guys that that's in your camp that talk louder than you do. And that right there can, put you in a certain position. You may not be that guy, and you just may be following along. And maybe that's what Costa was. And then he realized he was in the octagon with a guy there again that was like I call special. Okay. And most people should call him that as well. It's sometimes you find yourself in that situation and there's no way out. No one can get in there and fight for you. No one can get in there and do battle for you. That's all on you. And we've seen it many times, where that corner say, come on, you can do it. Come on, man, suck it up. Come on, man. Don't worry about that cut. Don't worry about that cut. I got it. How many times we've seen that? Come on, you got 2 more rounds. You got 2 more rounds. You can do this. How many times we've seen that? You know what I mean? So my thing is this, Adesanya, the guy that fights on another level. Costa is a guy that realized, man, I got to go back to the drawing board and do a lot of work if I am to fight on that level. That's what I saw. That's what I take away from Costa Adesanya more than anything, because other than that, only thing I could take away from it is there again, Adesanya looked like somebody out of a comic book. It was beautiful.
Yeah, no, he really did. I mean, he looked sensational, and Paulo Costa's corner wasn't helping him at all. Right? Remember when we watched the week before Tyron Woodley and Colby? Woodley's corner was like, hey, man, you're losing this fight. You got to get a stoppage or it's over. Paulo Costa's corner was like, doing a great job. This is exactly what we wanted. Yeah. Down the game plan. But, keep on doing what you're doing. And I'm like, what is he doing? Except for losing. He's not doing anything. You know what I mean? But the thing about Israel, this is how cerebral this guy is. Remember, he had the pink hair. I don't know if you saw him talk about this.
Yeah.
And one of the journalists I just thought this was so interesting. One of the journalists in the post-fight press conference asked him, hey, so why did you shave your head going into this fight? We thought we were going to see the pink hair. And he said, I was talking to my dad, and my dad told me once you start to, hit this guy a couple good times in the face, his eyes are going to start to shut. His vision's going to get blurred. And
like a video game.
Yeah, but he's like, if you still got that pink hair, he'll still be able to see a pink blur and know where he needs to throw his hands. If you don't have that hair at all, he's not going to know where your head's at. He's not going to know where your face is at. Change the hair. And Israel said, I listened to Pops, and Pops is always right. And I thought, man, what just a small detail. I would never think about the color of my hair in a fight. Israel and his dad, they're thinking about every single thing.
Detail.
It's happened. It's the details. Exactly. It's the details in this fight game that's going to make you a champion and going to keep you a champion. And that is a small illustration of how cerebral Israel Adesanya is and why I expect him to remain the champion so long as he wants to.
Nah, man, I think it's going to take a hell of a man to step up and beat him. He's proved, I mean, come on. All you got to do is look at the guys that's on that list and you go, wow, this guy, I wouldn't call him the GOAT or anything like that. I think it's way too early for us to call him that. But I there again, I think he's extraordinary. I think he's different. I think he's special. I think he's definitely exceptional in every form when it comes to hands, when it comes to, and it's the little bitty things when I watch Adesanya. He's the last three guys he's fought, he's, hit him with that, shot where he's bending back, and that's not by accident or anything like that. That's perfection. That's something that's artistry, something that no one else can do like that, and that's what intrigues me more when I watch fighters.
Right.
Some fighters, I look at them and they, they're just fighters. They go in there and they know how to throw punches. But when I watch Prince Nassim Hamed, when I watch Roy Jones Jr., when I watch guys like, Parnell Sweet Pea Whitaker, man, those guys, made me feel a certain way because it was almost like dancing. It was almost like rhythm, and in motion. And that's what, certain fighters have and certain fighters don't. Like Adesanya actually say he goes out there and he really tries to have fun. I believe him. I really do. I believe that he's having fun within the mix of a storm because anything can happen within that storm. And that's what makes it so, attractive, to a fighter because, to be able to elude and evade, right in the middle of it, it got to be an adrenaline rush like no other. And to get hit, to get scathed, whatnot in a fight, that's just something that happens. But to walk away from that fight knowing what kind of skill that you really have, man, I really think that's the ultimate high, the ultimate adrenaline rush. Because I can honestly say, if I was to ever have fought, I think that's what would have motivated me. And I think, as a kid, I got into many, many fights. It was just part of my nature. I know that part of it. I loved, the art of trying to figure it out, and wanting to be able to do it like this. And if I made somebody miss, I thought about it. And if I made them pay, that kind of stuff, So to watch, and the thing is, Ariel won, and he wouldn't know anything about that. We talking about a guy who's never had a fight in his life. I'm not getting off subject or anything like that. But so let's just stay on track. But
what do you think of Israel doing his version of the Spinaroonie post fight in the middle of the octagon? Pretty disrespectful to Paulo, but I gotta say, I loved it.
Oh man, that let me know exactly what I left, as far as my legacy in the game, and young cats like Israel Adesanya doing a spinneroonie, even throwing me a shout out. You know, I'm not a guy that's in the game, you know what I mean? But I'm a guy, you know, that's on Twitter, you know, send my man a DM and say, hey man, can you think you can come on my show? And he said, yeah, man, I can come on, man. You know, and you know the reason they do it, you know, because they respect me. You know what I mean? They've watched me for so many years, and I've represented like a real OG. You know, something that sucker Ariel Helwani will never understand about somebody like me. You know, and the thing is, I'm not even trying to talk about Ariel Helwani right now. I'm trying to stick to why you keep bringing me back to Ariel Helwani?
Well, I didn't say anything about it.
Why do you keep bringing me back to this scourge? You know what? Why? Why do you do it?
I'm just asking you about the spinneroonie. For some reason, it feels like you got something to say. It feels like you got something to say.
You know what, man? You know what? I got 2 minutes before I got to take a break. You know, I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. I'm going to go ahead and get it off my chest right now. You know, Ariel Helwani, he running around, you know, talking about this, talking about that, on the Pat McAfee show, you know, still trying to throw a little shade on, you know, our little show that we got here in Houston, you know, right on ESPN 97.5. You know, we might be a small show, you know, we might be a real small show, but we work real hard for our artists, you know. And like I said, we ain't ride no coattails. You know, we didn't have our own show, Ariel Helwani show, and then all of a sudden have to get, you know, DC in to help bump the ratings, because don't nobody in they mama know who Ariel Helwani is. You can walk in a room and they, who's the bald head guy, if any? You know, so my thing is this, man. If anybody should have a show, it should be John Anik. That's the guy that, I mean, he looks good in the suit. He speaks well. He don't look, you know, I'm not going to sit here and call him, you know, lazy or anything like that. But it seems that way when he's doing his show, like he's half asleep, you know, like he's, you know, just got up off the sofa. He has zero energy. He doesn't know how to conduct. I used to be a drum major, so I know all about that. So my thing is this, Ariel, talking about I live in a mansion, okay? All right? Relevant? Look, man, I'm not going to sit and debate back and forth, but I tell you this, Ariel Helwani, I challenge you to anything. You know, DC, don't jump on the bandwagon, because I challenge you too as well. Push-up contest, all right? Push-up contest. I bet you I could do more push-ups than Ariel Helwani could ever in his lifetime. You name it, Ariel Helwani, I would, trust me, beat you in it. And if you want to throw hands, like I saw you, you know, getting a little puffy about, bruh, I will beat you like you stole something. You understand? Like you just broke in my house. That's how bad I will beat you, man, because I thought this was a friendly competition for a second. But when you start talking about what myself and Brad do here inside the Hall of Fame, which is, trust me, a much better show than that show you guys do. And like I say, if you didn't bring DC in it, a guy who got some real clout, a guy who got, you know, some stripes on his shoulder, all right, a guy who got some stars, all right, you wouldn't be where you are right now. And I'm just saying, all right, just tell it like it is. But any place, anytime, Ariel Helwani, whatever it may be, we back in a minute.
The Academy.
Yay, man. Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. Hey, man.
You good?
Oh, man, I'm good, man. I
Good. Okay.
drank me a little ice water here just to cool me down, man, because my thing is this, man. I just don't like people running their mouth, and that's the thing with social media, all the distancing, people can talk a whole lot of crap. They can say whatever they want to say because they know they ain't going to run into you. But I'm going to tell you right now, the last person who had something to say to me by internet, through the airwaves, ask him what happened when I ran up on him. All right.
Thing is, for those who know, you know. You don't know, it's true.
I'm sure you guys have heard the stories, and if he's listening, he know what I'm talking about. But let's move on, man. Let's move on. Clash of Champions went down in the Thunderdome, and I actually happened to be there. But before we get to the Thunderdome and what went down, man, some news that a little cross promotion here going down. Ryback, Ezekiel Elliott. You heard that news right there? Ryback, I'm looking to sue Ezekiel Elliott because of the "Feed Me More" slogan, trademark, whatnot. I don't know if you've seen it. Ezekiel Elliott has a huge tattoo on his belly. Literally, it's huge, and it says, "Feed me." Yeah. And now Ryback saying, man, that's my deal. I've been saying it. I've been using it ever since the independence. Ryback also in litigation with the WWE over the name Ryback, which WWE trademarked on the last day, made sure they renewed the trademark on the last day. And Ryback is in litigation as far as trying to make sure he can use that. He actually changed his name from Ryan Reeves to Ryback Reeves, I think. And that right there, man, that's deep, man. When you go change your name, and say, man, that I got to get it, that's deep. But what do you think about, if he's gonna, win in litigation with Ezekiel Elliott, if he choose to go that route over, Ezekiel Elliott having "Feed Me" as a tattoo? And I think you want to do some branding with it as well, compared to Ryback's "Feed Me More."
I think that's a razor's edge that you're walking on that point. I mean, it's like you have a tattoo on your shoulder, right? That says King, right? Book, right? Don't you have one that says King, right? That's like God rest his soul, when he was still around, Harley Race coming around and be like, Booker, I think I was king before you. You might want to remove that tattoo. Gimmick infringement. I don't know if I'm with that. And maybe that's not the best example, but I don't know if I'm with that in the regards to Ezekiel Elliott thing, because if it's a tattoo, it's a tattoo. And if you
no. On the flip side of that right there, back up a second. I don't know if you read about the lawsuit with 2K, WWE 2K, with the artist of Randy Orton that did the sleeve of Randy Orton is suing 2K because they used that image in 2K.
But here's my thing. I think that's even a little different, because it's like you're an artist hired for a specific job that you did for a specific human being to wear on their body. I think that once you put that tattoo on them, you have no ownership over that. Unless you have some other contract that says otherwise, you have no ownership over that. I think that's nonsense.
People say this coronavirus just hitting everybody in all kind of ways.
And honestly, I feel like the thing with now, if Ezekiel Elliott's trying to do like a whole vitamin program and book and podcast and run around with "Feed Me" T-shirts and stuff like that, okay,
he's trying to brand it. Yes.
Okay, then maybe there's an issue. If he's just going around saying "Feed Me" because it's literally tattooed on his stomach is saying "Feed Me," I don't think that's neither here nor there. Now, to go the other one with Ryback and the WWE, that's another tough one, man. It's a tough one, because I'm sure that Ryback came up with that name because his name is Ryan Reeves, and he said that his character was something like the power of a silverback gorilla. That's where the name Ryback came from. It's a cool name. It got him over.
Yeah.
And I can see why he'd want to retain that name. However, unfortunately, when you work for a company, whether it be WWE or any other company, if you come up with an idea, we had this issue with our old name of our show, right? We came up with that. That was our name.
Yeah.
We did it under another company that we were contracted to. So they said, hey, it's actually our name, right? That's just the old mop flop, as you say. So with Ryback, like I feel him. I feel his pain. But, you know, I don't know if he's going to win a litigation suit, but he does join guys like Steve Austin, who changed his name to Steve Austin. Ultimate Warrior changed his name to Warrior from Jim Hellwig. Guys have done this in the past, and I don't know with Warrior where his case settled up. I think that he ended up owning the name Ultimate Warrior, but he had it before WWE. So it's a slippery slope for Ryback. I just think, you know, maybe they can come to some sort of agreement where they can share the rights to the name since it is his real name and he made it up, and WWE's not really using much of it. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, man, I don't know, bro. You know, it's a war. You know what I mean? It's always going to be a war. And in this business, man, I don't know, it's a lot of infighting, especially when it comes to stuff like that, just because, you know, I'm glad I don't have to go through that at Reality of Wrestling as far as bringing these guys in, because I name most of those guys. You know, I try to come up with some of the best names you can possibly have for wrestlers. You know, one of my all-time greatest name was James Kirk.
James Kirk, yeah.
The thing is, it's hard to trade. It's hard to trademark these names. You know,
James Kirk.
But no, man. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
But here's the thing: if I'm WWE, I'm the company. Like here's the thing: I'm always for the artist. I'm always for the performer, because that's who I identify with. I want them to get what's theirs, right? But if I'm looking at it from WWE's standpoint, I'd be like, hey, well, you came up with it while you were here. We promoted you under that name. We signed you to a contract that said you're our intellectual property. We merchandised under that name for you. I don't know if you have a leg to stand on in this case. You know what I mean? If I'm WWE, that's how I'm looking at it. Unless WWE says, you know what? We're not going to use a name. Take it. Unless they do that, it's theirs, right? Yeah. If I wanted to buy the house right next to yours, Book, and you bought the lot, you know what I mean? I had all intentions of building a house there, but guess what? You own it. So if you don't want me to move there, I can't do anything until you sell that land. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just part of the game, man. It comes along with the territory, like you said. I think, and people can say, well, what about you, Book? Well, you don't see a lot of Booker T action figures. You see a lot of King Booker action figures, you know, which, you know, I did King Booker in the company under their banner, and, you know, it's their right to promote it, and, you know, just, you know, give me my little slice. You know, I mean, I'm good with that. I'm good with getting my slice. But it's really, like you say, a slippery slope as far as when you get locked in like that, especially when you're young. You know what I mean? It's like hearing these stories, you know, on Unsung, about these, you know, music artists, to where, you know, man, they sign these contracts, you know, and just like Left Eye and T-Boz and
bring that up. Yeah, they sold 1 million albums and they got like 10 grand or something.
Yeah,
like that.
they got like some cheap cars or something, you know, that they gave them, and they thought they were, you know, riding high off the hog. You know, they thought that was a really big deal. You know, when you're young, man, you can get something presented in front of you, and you think it's a really, really good deal. And Ryback, he was a guy that came in. He was pretty young, I think, when he came in. I don't know.
Came in originally with the NXT crew as a part of
it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't
Skip Sheffield.
Exactly. He looked like a kid, but a giant kid. He didn't look nothing like. So he had to be pretty young when he came in, and that happens a lot of times. You know, when young guys come in, man, certain things happen. You know, it's easy to go along with the program, and I say that because, you know, I've been there myself. When, you know, when my brother and I first got in WCW, you know, we wouldn't even ask about, you know, how much money we was going to get paid or anything like that. You know, they offered us the
check in the mail. You were surprised. You're like, oh,
they offered the contract. And I mean, we were like, okay, we could do that, you know, but because it was more money than we ever made in our lives. But just think, we probably was worth a whole lot more, you know. But, you know, sometimes you gotta go along with the program, and hopefully something better happened. It worked out for me. Doesn't work out that way for everybody. But, that's
you gotta take the opportunity, right? Even with T-Boz and Chili and Left Eye and them, they had to take the opportunity because they weren't getting that money on their own right then. You know what I mean? Now later on, when they become a huge act, or even with remember The Last Dance, the thing with Scottie Pippen, how he signed that really long-term deal for a percentage of what he was really.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I don't know where I'm going to be in 10 years. I'm just trying to think of my family. Now, if you're a real business, you're going to come back and renegotiate with them. But at the time, hey, you signed the dotted line. Your signature is the most dangerous thing you own. It doesn't cost you anything. So you better be careful where you use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like you say, get your foot in the door. Get your foot in the door. And sometimes you got to, get your foot in the door before you can make any moves. But just be smart about that part at least, and try not to get locked into some, long-term lifetime deal with someone to where, you can't get out of it. So I don't know, man. That's just the way the old mop flops sometimes. Guys, stick around. We got a little bit more for you. We'll be back in a minute.
The Academy.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, man, things moving quick tonight, man. Clash
We're almost out of time. We're talking about the Clash, right?
Champions going down, and it's gonna, definitely be one that people I think is going to be talking about for a little bit because I thought it brought out the best in the performers more than anything. The guys went out and actually, it felt like the crowd was actually there. That ladder match. Good God, man. Those guys went out and did that ladder match like, they were in Madison Square Garden. There was 20,000 people in the arena, sold out. And I was so scared. But I think about the performance more than anything, and think about Sami Zayn. I want to give Sami Zayn huge props for going out there and performing at such a high level. The guy went out, and I wish the company had 10 Sami Zayns. That's what I thought about Sami at the beginning of that night, and then after he went out and performed, I was like, wow, man, this guy really is beginning to. And I say that because I remember the Sami Zayn when he first started. All right, and that baby face, just going around, I was like, man, this is not going to work out at all. That's what I was saying. I just did not see Sami Zayn becoming a guy that you go, man, this guy's good. I didn't see that. But when you study it, when you want to be the guy that everyone look at and say, man, wow, this guy is stepping his game up. That's what Sami is doing right now. I don't know if it was the time. I don't know what it was, but he definitely, from the kickoff show all the way through the ladder match, I thought Sami Zayn stood out, and he definitely did an awesome job.
He was one of my favorite acts of the entire night. When he came out on the pre-show, a lot of the times when people are being characters, it can come off like a character. It can come off a little hokey.
Yeah.
Sometimes, Sami came off 100% believable on the pre-show. He really did. When he told Rosenberg, which, by the way, what was the muffin thing? Why were y'all keep calling him Muffin? Y'all called him Muffin all night. You got to tell me what that's about. Maybe off air you could tell me. But But with Sami Zayn, when he was spouting off at Rosenberg, and then in the match, he wrestled the match as if he really was his character, right? That's when you know that it's making sense to him and it's making sense to the audience. He was making the moves based upon what his character would do. Not, hey, I should do a spot right here because I'm going to get a reaction. It was, what would my character do in this spot?
Yeah.
Then pulls out the handcuffs. He handcuffs Jeff Hardy's ear to the ladder. He handcuffs himself to AJ Styles. He does all those cerebral things. It was perfect. I love Sami Zayn that night, and him winning the Intercontinental Championship was the best move to continue that story going forward and to continue to build around this new character of Sami Zayn.
No, man, totally agree 100%. It was one of those things to where you wonder how that thing was going to play out.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jeff, you say, man, this guy's been there, many, many times. We pretty much know, what he's going to do. But you still wonder, especially in this era that we're going through right now, how these guys are going to go out and play this thing out. But I got to say it, man. Everybody did an awesome job. But what about you? What match stood out for you?
Well, I mean, aside from that one, that was my favorite. The main event was off the charts. But the main event was off the charts, and I want to talk about Roman a little bit more. But before we do, a couple quick things that come to mind. I really like Zelina Vega in the ring. I like her character. She's another one I like the character, so I liked her in the ring with Asuka. And then I wanted to ask you this about the ambulance match. And this is what I thought. I really liked the story of the ambulance match. I liked Randy getting his comeuppance. Maybe what they did on Raw the next night kind of took some of it away for me. But in that night, I liked Randy getting his comeuppance, and you saw Shawn and Rick and Christian and Big Show all do something. And then Drew wins, but he barely wins. And when I was looking at that, I'm like, man, Drew McIntyre is the most dominant physical presence, maybe on the entire roster now that we don't have Brock Lesnar signed to a contract. Bobby Lashley a close second. Why give him all this assistance and still barely win? To me, it made Drew not look as powerful as he really is. I would have much preferred the shenanigans. Sure, that's fine, but I would have much preferred Drew go out there and do it alone, because typically when you have all those outside antics, that's for the heel to benefit, not for the heel to get his comeuppance, right? It almost looked like Drew couldn't do it alone. That's just what I thought. I don't know if you thought anything similar or what.
Me as a promoter,
right?
And trying to produce a show for me at this time and what we're going through right now, I definitely can see the match going the way it did, interjecting all of those players that have taken the head kick. Now you talk about Drew barely squeaking by and barely winning. In wrestling, it just brings it back for Randy to say, I mean, you couldn't beat me on your own. You know what I mean? You had to use all of these guys, and then you know it. You know what I mean? You can't beat me. It's one of those type of deals. So I could use it and make it work for me if I'm promoting this thing. But to have Ric Flair, to have Shawn Michaels, to have the Big Show, the Ayatollah Rocket. No, I mean that's my somebody. The Peep Show there. What do you call himself? Christian. To have those guys
charisma
on the show, to be a part of it, is something that you say, man, that's just icing on the cake. That's what wrestling is.
Okay.
To be able to do that kind of stuff every now and then, to give the people that moment. You say, could it have been done differently? Of course it could have. But who don't want to see, Shawn Michaels, who don't want to see, those legends of the game, just make an appearance, so I can buy it from that perspective. What about you? You feel me on that?
I see where you're coming from a little bit more. Just my own personal feeling. I want to see the baby face be the dominant one with no help, right? As opposed to, getting all the help and the heel still almost getting it done. But I get where you're coming from, especially as a promoter in an ambulance match where you can actually have that interaction with other people because there are no rules. So you can have people interject without it being
how many times have you asked me something like that and I give you an answer like that and then you go, yeah, you're right.
So let's talk about the main event. The main event is Jimmy Uso.
That's messed up, man. That's messed up.
Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns.
Jey Uso.
No, see, I knew I was going to get it wrong. Was it Jay or Jimmy?
Jey Uso.
You sure?
I'm positive.
Okay, it was Jay. I'm sorry, Jay. Jey Uso. Corey Graves was getting it wrong all night, so that's what threw me off. I'm not throwing him under the bus. I'm just saying it's easy to confuse them. Jey Uso out there with Roman, and I got to say, he did a hell of a job in the main event. He worked to the level of where he was on the card, right? And I hear you talk about that all the time. If you're in the main event, I need you to work at a main event level. And Uso went out there. Uso did it, man. He really did. But really, to me, story was Roman Reigns. As great as Uso did, and I hope that he stays kind of in that vicinity of the upper card there, upper main event card, at least on SmackDown for now. Roman came out. He comes back with this heel persona. He's got Paul Heyman. He ditches the chest protector, and he looks jacked. The guy looks like a Hollywood star already. And when he told Uso on that Jey Uso on the SmackDown prior, he lays him out and he says, "I'll see you on Sunday. Come pick up your check and take the ass whooping that goes with it." I said, "This guy's got it now. It's all come together. He gets it now. This is the Roman Reigns we've wanted for 5 years, right? And he could go babyface and be exactly the same."
You know, you give a guy a chance, let him find their comfort zone. I think that's what we've done with Roman, and now he's gone through a whole lot. He's grown a whole lot too, and that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes baby steps in this business. If you feel like, man, why is it so long? Why is it taking so long for me to figure this out? It's a lot of intricate detail that goes into becoming a complete performer, and the guys that have been there, they know it. And right now, Roman Reigns is definitely in that moment. And there again, Jay having a moment to step up. And when you get a chance to step up, there again, it's a moment. The moment just happened to be at this time when Roman is the champion, family. But when it's time to step up in this business, no matter what's his family or what, it ain't like boxing or anything like that. You go out there and you entertain to the best of your ability and show the world how good this family really is. And that's what those guys had a chance to do. My brother and I, we really never got a chance to go out there and show the world how good we were from a singles perspective, working against each other. But I really think that would have been like one of the best matches on the card if they really would have let me and my brother go and have a real match just one time, just so we could show the world how good the family really is. So that there again, for those guys, the big dog Roman Reigns, for Jey Uso. All right, let's get it right. Let's say his name, Jey Uso. Say his name properly.
Jey Uso.
The family did themselves proud, man. They did an awesome job, and this is something that they're going to remember for a very, very long time. And it could be that one thing that catapults Jey Uso's career to another stratosphere. But I'm sure he ain't even ready to go there, man. I'm sure he's just waiting on his brother Jimmy to get back and play, because twins are a little bit different. They run this thing, this life thing together. And hopefully we'll see the Usos back inside the square circle together as a team, doing their thing, representing reality of wrestling like they only can, man. But hey, man, we got to get up out of here, man. We got to get up out of here. I want to thank everybody for listening in on the show with us on a weekly, being a part of what we do, making us who we are. Because I tell you, man, every time I get on this microphone and start, kicking it with you guys, it takes me to another level. And more importantly, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys keeping me relevant, making me relevant. And like I say, guys, I love you.